I'm at Grace Church Road. I went to Waynesboro to bring this man down to this address, and now he's trying to force his way into a house. I'm afraid to move my vehicle. Just like in there.
It's inside the house now?
Yeah.
You have your doors locked?
It's open. I'm in a van.
You need to make yourself safe, okay? Even if you've got to drive away from there to get away from him and close that and lock that door. Do that for me now, please.
Okay, wait a minute.
Oh, oh, I hate it when I do that. Sitting here babbling along. And then, of course, I'm way up top there looking at the thing. Sorry, but, the thing is that it's just so easy to touch my mic and go mute. But I always think that I'm doing it from the computer. Yeah, is that better? Okay. So, I hate it when I start off like that. Okay. Okay. Well, anyways, so I was going to say thanks, Skittles, for becoming a member. If you do want to join the private Facebook group, just email at acrimingshame@gmail.com with your Facebook and your YouTube name if you choose to. You don't have to, of course, but you can use the emoticons now and do that. So that's totally up to you. And sorry. Okay. So morning, Kyle. I'm not even gonna entertain what verbal was going on about. I have absolutely no clue. That's like a loose cannon going off for what I don't know reason. So I don't know. Like literally zero clue. Same thing happened last night. Everyone was like, wait, what? What's going on? What's this person going on about? Yeah, not into that stuff. Anyways, so thank you for joining Skittles, Kyle Davis, of course. Nice to see you. Yeah, you got this little whole thing. I wasn't expecting to come into chat and all of a sudden see somebody going off on stuff. I don't even know. It's actually comical to me because especially when you know that you've done nothing and then you're reading something and you don't even know what the person's going on. I don't even know what. I'm just gonna say it was maybe a little bit too early for that person, perhaps. I don't know. Anyways, hi Outback, how are you? Base Girl, how are you? Yeah, Adam will be here soon. And yeah, I guess I'm not on mute anymore. Hi Lynn, how are you? Lynn, every time I see your name, I always think, because my husband's mom's last name is Ormrod. Okay. And so every time I see your last name, I keep thinking it says that all the time. And I keep going, oh, Lynn, relative. It gets, yeah, right. Practicing that, I suppose. Hi, Remy Steph. How are you? Yeah. We're going to, you know what, you guys, just so you know, tonight we'll be doing a live and it's going to be about basically a YOLO live with discussions, and Lewis should be here, Alexa, and Psychic Sleuth, and of course, Adam and myself. And we're just going to be talking about the different cases and YOLO talking in a sense. And yeah, just kind of like an open forum discussion. So that's what we'll be doing tonight on tonight's live. Okay. And I'm just liking to throw some of these in here because this case for the Nicola, Nicola, I want to say Nicola because that's what Nicola, because it's a very strange case, and it's just one that's kind of grabbing my heart here, like other people's, but it's strange. Do you know what happened to her? Where did she go? Who did what? Did she do something? I don't know. But yeah. Hi George, how are you? Yeah. Hi Sees Through, how are you? All right. Love you guys too. Thank you guys again. I know, again, most people aren't used to me doing the day stuff, and not only that, again, I'm always a week late and a dollar short. Idaho case followed it, but I just don't usually jump on bandwagons. But it's not like it was a bandwagon. It's like you pay attention to it, and you're just kind of like, and then all of a sudden you go, let me go look into that case. And so that kind of happened even with this one as well. It's like, I read it and I was like, well, this is, I like things that make my brain have to think like a puzzle. And it's like, you're feeling bad for the family. This lady just vanished, and it's like a mystery, but so sad, of course, what's going on, because nobody knows. Yeah, that should be a really good live tonight. It is, yeah, I mean, it always, first and foremost, my heart goes out to the families that are affected, and to, if she's a victim of, whether she just up and left, or or something happened to her. It's so sad when I'm watching these people speak, right, the family members, and you're watching them tear up. It's so hurts the heart in a sense, definitely. Hey Ray. um no, I don't know myself personally. Yeah. It is. Again, it's not like Delphi, or it's not like the Valo case where it's like, more way absurd. This is just, it's like it's this simple case in a sense of this, obviously not simple, but you know what I mean, of this person that's in a park and then vanishes. And they can't find her, you know, and they keep believing she's in the water, but they're doing an internal investigation on themselves, like, and I'll play a clip of that in a second. Yeah, it's all right. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. After that run you. Anyways, so let's see here. Oh, no, hit the wrong button there. Let me just present share screen. Okay. Now, I did borrow these from Grizzly True Crime. I was watching her live yesterday, and so I can give you guys just a little bit better. Let me take this down for a second, and I'll take myself off. Kyle, you must have missed all that last night. And I'll just pull myself off so you can see that a bit better. So let me go here so I can look at it. So where Nicola was last sighted, which was, why are they having an arrow there? Why do they have an arrow, a circle there, actually? Like this, I don't think Grizz True Crime actually did this. I'm not sure. I thought it was that somebody sent it to her. But okay, they got that wrong, I think. Because this is the upper field here. Yeah. I think that I don't know, that's wrong. Yeah, I'm not going to use that picture because, like, why was she spotted there? where did that come from out of all of this? Never seen that one yet. Okay, so let's go over here. So Grizz from Grizzly True Crimes had said that someone had sent this to her. I think that kind of like knows the area, or lives around in that area, that and it was saying how like there's the certain one. So like the green meant that it was like really shallow. No, I think the red was really shallow actually. And the green was, like mediocre shallow. And this was a little bit deeper on this one. Oh, you know what? I can't even remember what it was. It was in my brain. Anyways, regardless of this is kind of like the different depths here. Nothing that's really, nothing that's really deep at all, to be honest with you. The bench is right here. Sorry, here. That's the unoccupied home. But let's go to this picture here, actually. So this is the CCTV cameras. And so at the gate, whatever they're showing, like this is working here. But this one's where they say that one's not working and then one's working. And that's part of the field there. So let me go back over to, I want to go back over to this one. Okay. This is the upper field. That home is over here. This is the lower field, right? And the bench is over here. Let me pull up, let me go back over to, I wasn't here either last night. Yeah. Okay. I want to stop screen for a sec, and I want to go back to, let's go back to Google Earth here. And okay, so I'm going to come out of the street view again. And I love Google Earth. I like the way it takes me for a ride. It's like a free riding. You don't have to move out of your chair, So basically over here is where they're saying like one camera is not working and one camera is. And why they had this circled on that one, I'm a little confused, because she wasn't sighted there. It was like down over here, but I don't know why that was circled. That's the first time I ever seen that, so I don't know what happened there. Wouldn't that, I mean, I can understand then if this guy over here had seen her, but heard barking, but she's not going out there because there's a fence and everything. So yeah, anyways, this has always been where it said, this area here, the bench down over here, nothing deep at all, right? And I just keep thinking, like, they haven't found her in the water. So she was wearing like that big, those big bubble jackets that people wear nowadays with all those little fluff pockets to them or whatever. You think at some point, if she was going down the water, this very slow moving water, that her jacket. I hear Adam. Hey, Adam. Hey.
Sorry, I'm a few minutes late.
Why?
Sorry, I'm a few minutes late.
No. I knew you would be, because you said that I think you got off at 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh no, Ray goes on fishing excursions. Ray comes and goes. It depends what he's doing. You were out fishing, right, Ray? Yeah. So when Ray goes out, it's not like there's this great cellular service, and he's out on a, big boat. Puffer jacket would float. Yeah. I mean, thank you, Base. Puffer jacket would float. How's Adam?
Hey, I'm good.
So,
Yeah, Base Girl. That's the same thing I've been. Both Sunny and myself have been maintaining this whole time, is that puffer jacket would float.
Mm-hmm.
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Or or Adam, that it would at least get caught on a twig or something like that.
Right.
You know, some of the sticks along the way, like meaning there would have been something that would have caught
Yeah.
on to that jacket.
Because
You know?
because that puffer jacket went down to her knees.
Yeah, yeah, it was a long puffer jacket. It was like a winter style long puffer jacket,
And she was
and
only 5. She's only 5'3", so
yeah, you know. So again, at some point before it ever got there, her jacket, I'm sure, would have, like I said, either came off or caught on some, part of the thing because it gets shallow. Like remember like the searcher team said it got shallow.
it's at 2 feet, right? In some places.
Yeah, one boot fell off. Okay, I just want to say this, Adam. So when I came before I started the live, I don't know what the heck verbal judo was even going on about, but all of a sudden I see all this stuff. And then I see Skittles saying, I don't care what you say, I like the channel. No idea what drama. But remember last night, Verbal we kept thinking was acting strange or whatever. So anyway, I did a good old block now because I'm just like, whatever's going on there, take it somewhere else.
Right. Well, yeah. Strange.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Again, you don't go into somebody's live and start spewing off.
Right.
What I don't even know what anything's about. But anyways, email the person or something.
Okay.
Hey.
I mean, I don't. It doesn't. That's unacceptable. But I hope she's okay.
I honestly, I don't care. I literally don't care. When somebody does stuff like that, take your issues and go get some help or something. I don't know. It's just like uncalled for. Yeah. Evening all. Hi, public. How are you?
Public.
Yeah. Oh, and Skittles became a member.
I was going to say I didn't think I noticed that Skittles had been a member before. So thank you, Skittles. If I had a cocktail, I'd have a drink, but water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely right. And then he says may have been Captain Morgan related. Yeah. So anyways, so I was telling them all that tonight as well. It will be Psychic Sleuth, though she'll arrive about a half an hour later. Alexa, me, you, and Lewis, and we're open discussion on the cases. Just an open discussion type of thing. Yeah. And yeah, when somebody's like up and down and all around.
Right. Did you do you know the Delphi update?
Which one? The one that the paperwork came from about the time, or which one?
The new dates.
No.
Oh, so the new dates, for anyone that hasn't seen, the new date is let me just make sure I'm correct on this. It is now set for June 15th.
June 15th for the.
So there's a hearing on June 15th and the 16th.
Okay, so for the bail bond.
Yeah.
And is there any of those dates? Yeah, I didn't see another docs part come in.
I have them. I'll send them to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Because I got the other ones this morning, but like it came in and then it was just like the same stuff. That's why I was like, I'm not making a video for that because it was just the same stuff we went over.
Right.
But so I never seen. Oh, there it is, right there, docs pop. Yeah. So I guess there was another one. It looks like. But if you have them, just send them. Yeah. Yeah,
I will. It's sent, and I have it confirmed from a family member as well.
Okay. Verbal. Anyone see that pic at the river of Paul and Emma? Emma looks identical to CCTV images. Emma. Who's Emma?
Emma's the friend. Yeah,
Emma White. Emma White.
Yeah, Emma's the friend that a lot of there's some speculation going on, which I don't buy into at all, that's actually her in the CCTV footage outside the house. But I don't believe it. They do look similar, but
So wait, what's being said?
There's a rumor going on that that's not actually Nicola in the still photos they've released from outside of her house, putting Willow in the back of the car. There's rumors that that's actually Emma.
Yeah, I'm not falling for that one.
Same.
No, sorry. I mean, I'm sure Emma's not the one putting Willow into the vehicle.
Because those are still photos from a video that was taken outside of the house as she got the girls into the car and the dog.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get a 6 and a 9-year-old to go along with some pretend thing where you're, wearing the mom's clothes,
Yeah. No, we don't. Nope. I trust Adam's opinion.
Scary thought, Ray. Kidding.
Yeah. I never heard the rumor. I just saw it on Grizzly. Yeah, I'm not into that's just a bunch of crock of what. Those two are neighbors, if I'm not mistaken. That isn't. I think Emma is her neighbor. That sees her all the time. I'm pretty sure that's. I know who Emma is.
I believe they live nearby. Yeah.
No, I think it's her neighbor because I remember them talking about how for like 5 years, basically, says hi to Nicola, and yeah. I've seen quite a few videos, but I want to play something.
Emma's the friend that's in all of the. She's the one that's in all of the news interviews. Everything.
Yeah, she's the one that's in most of the interviews there that you see. I do want to play a clip for you guys because I feel like this is, at least they're putting an investigation into. Let's see here, this one right here. Let's play that. Put that up on screen. Let's play this one for you guys. Take us off and hit play. This one's about 4 minutes long.
Intense scrutiny, and perhaps no week more than this week after revealing very intimate details of Nicola Bulley's private life, that she had significant issues with alcohol and the menopause, and there were concerns about the disclosure of that information and how it could be relevant to the investigation. And now, as you say, that statement from Lancashire Police confirming that they are set to conduct an internal review into their handling of their investigation into Nicola Bulley's disappearance. In a short statement, a spokeswoman for the force said, a review of the investigation is diarised and will be conducted by our head of crime, Detective Chief Superintendent Pauline Stables. She is also PIP 4 accredited and has attended the National Reviewer course. PIP 4 refers to a high level of strategic advice. It's something given by the National College of Policing. It means that someone who is well versed in handling complex reviews of very high profile cases such as this one has turned into over the past 3 weeks. And what a 3 weeks really it has been for Nicola Bulley's family, still so desperate for news, anything really that can answer any question as to what happened to Nicola Bulley when she disappeared from this small village on Friday, the 27th of January, 3 weeks today. And we had a short statement from Nicola Bulley's father, Ernie, today, saying that every day is a struggle and they just need a breakthrough, an answer to what happened to this mother of 2 young children who are still at home. Family earlier this week saying they just want their mummy home for a cuddle. Still many questions, as I say, about what happened to Nicola on that morning. This morning, Sky News retraced the steps, what is known, the path that the mother took after leaving her daughters, dropping them off to the primary school, which is just a short way down the road from where I'm standing now. And in course of that walk, they met a dog walker called Ron, who was there the morning that Nicola Bulley took that same walk, and he found or saw her phone on the bench where it was left, still connected to that conference call. Here's what he's told my colleague Insaman Rashid.
I thought somebody had gone to the toilet in the that would have been my first. I got to about this red brick building here, and I thought this is not right. And then there was a conversation, but my wife was trying to ring me. I was trying to ring her. Penny had rung my wife.
Yeah.
to say that she'd fastened the dog up that was.
And Penny was the lady who actually spotted Willow initially,
right, yes.
and saw the phone, but didn't know what was going on with the
That's
phone.
right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, you know, what happened?
Well,
what were the next steps?
Then it was just a progression of things happening. You know, we found out because of the wallpaper on the phone. We found out who the couple were. Then the school was contacted, and Paul arrived.
Yeah.
And I think you get a sense from hearing that description of Ron, of what he was doing, who he spoke to. You get a sense of this is a small place. It's the sort of place where everyone knows everyone, even if they don't know their name, they know their face, they know their dog. And that is what this small place is dealing with. Someone very familiar to this community who's been missing now for more than 3 weeks, and trying to support Nicola Bulley's family. Her sister, Louise Cunningham, posting this very moving message on social media today, saying, 3 weeks today, without you home. We all miss you so much. It is time to come home. This week.
Okay, so let's see here. Okay. No, I think what Base Girl was saying there, Skittles, was that them letting that information out was very inappropriate.
Right.
And we feel the same way. And you know, I was watching a bunch of Nicola Bulley interviews or people discussing it and stuff like that, like what I would say the professionals, and they exactly were saying exactly what I've been saying, like verbatim, pretty much. And you know, if you stick down the common sense road, about the water, about the case, about them basically putting it should have been deemed as a crime scene.
Right.
And when somebody's missing, you deem it as a crime scene. If you have to lower it to something different, but that should have been deemed as a crime scene. And what I've personally feel myself is that I'm glad they're going to do an investigation into this, because to me, they have handled this completely wrong.
Right.
You know, when you find somebody's phone and whatever, and you don't know what's going on, you should at least, be taking those steps to, tape it off, based on the fact that this phone is found and this dog's found, really? And you're just going to deem it as, oops, I think this person slipped, and then concentrate really on that,
Right.
And yeah, so I think, again, I myself feel that all they needed to do, and just like they said it again too, when I was listening to last night, just leave it as, mental health issues.
Precisely. I agree. They could have just said she was having mental health issues and left it at that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, and I'm by no means an expert on UK law enforcement or UK law, but there's I can't remember his name right now, but there's a retired law enforcement person that's been on several interviews and everything.
Yes.
He's a little salty. I like him. I really like him.
Yes. That's why I was watching him, and he was, again, I was
the interview with him and that blonde guy.
Pardon?
Or that interview from this morning or yesterday with him and that one guy.
Is it? I'm not sure which one you're referring to. So if you have it, share it with me.
I watched it this morning, so I'm sure it's right there on my watch list.
There was, I think, what was the guy's name? Peter Falding or something? Falding.
The diver or the underwater guy.
Yes, there was that one, and then there was the guy that was standing there, that was answering questions. Let me go back to my history for a sec, because
this is the one. It was on Talk TV.
Okay, let me just take a look at what you're going to show me here.
But I thought this was because they both laid out kind of everything that we've been saying.
Well, I mean, it's just I just deem it as common sense thinking, really. Is this the one I was watching? Let me just take a look. I think this is the one. Oh, no, but I know this one that you're speaking of. Here, let me just pull it up, and we'll come back to that.
It was. I think it's like 15 minutes long, but it was a really good it was a really good, back and forth about the case, and he is retired law enforcement, so
Yeah, yeah,
not knowing everything about UK law, it's nice to hear
yeah. Well,
an ex-law enforcement agent say, no, this isn't how it should be handled, and this is what I would have done. Because he even talks about, the fact that it wasn't considered a crime scene, and it wasn't until 4 days later on Monday that one person came in and actually started cordon things off.
Well, right. And, to be honest with you, like I said, as I'm watching these things, it's not like I had listened to this before myself. It was just common sense things that, you think should be done or what shouldn't be released, or, like what you're seeing and the little information. So it wasn't like I was listening to these men, but when I was listening to them yesterday, I was like, see, this is actually what I was just saying. See, yeah, they're saying the same things that I was thinking, it's like, get your butts out of the freaking water, or leave a couple, whatever, but you need to focus. It's been over 3 weeks. Why are you guys releasing this information? It just seems like I feel like it's like kid work that in a sense that's being done here. Like it's like
Right.
really. So let's just keep focusing on the water,
And I don't like to criticize law enforcement. I know you don't either.
No,
but I do feel like because I go back and forth speaking of, I go back and forth because sometimes I think to myself, no, give them the benefit of the doubt. But then at the end of the day, I always have to remind myself, we should hold law enforcement to the standard that the public deserves.
Yeah.
And and yes, I don't live in the UK, but they're human beings, and I understand human beings make mistakes. I make mistakes every day, but I do hold law enforcement to a higher standard, and I feel like that's something we should do.
Well, I think Delphi should sum that one up too, though, public art, to be honest with you. I mean, we know that there's a lot more good than the bad, and the bad will always be enhanced on TV because that's what gets views. But in saying that, when you're following cases and you're like with Delphi, and you see double talking going on, and you see lack of transparency, lack of communication, and then you see in hindsight what has happened, and that they interviewed Richard Allen and stuff like that, and about the dog thing. Those are things that anyone would be shaking their head going, really? So meaning you literally are sheriff and you're literally calling off dogs? Like,
right.
What in your brain cells said to do that?
Right. And I do agree, public art critic. I understand what you're saying because, I myself, I've never had a negative experience with police. So, I mean, and they do know more, but, there are certain ways they could have handled this differently. And I don't think it's wrong to hold them to a higher standard.
Yeah, Delphi is far from over. And, and I do want to say something because I know this has definitely been creeping out there to people. Who is running the narrative of letting this out? Meaning, Paul, he's the one that's saying that the day was different. Okay. So he's the one that's saying that, everything was pretty much the same, but hey, the day was different. Like this day I came down and everything was done. And now this can go two ways though. That everything was done and,
with this case goes two ways.
A little bit different. So who was it that okayed from the family then about putting this out there? And it's almost like if somebody possibly is planting a seed in a sense, constructing the narrative somewhat. Now you can look at that two ways, really. You can look at it like perhaps Nicola, maybe that day she started getting everything ready. She was, ready to exit her life or something like that. Could look at it that way. Could look at it like somebody's running the narrative there and putting out information. Why would you release? Like, what brainiac in the popo there said, yeah, we're not going to say mental health issues. We're going to literally let you people know that she had alcohol issues, and almost like driving the narrative a certain way. You know, when the hand's feeding the left and it's going right on the other side there? Possibly. Just a possibility. Because we don't really know what's going on
We don't.
with that.
And law enforcement might be entirely correct, and that's fine. You know, I mean, I don't think under any circumstances they needed to come out and say the alcohol thing. I was actually just talking to a client today about this case, and she's a psychologist, and so I was trying to get her take on it because, you know, I was just mentioning to her, I was like, you know, she wasn't familiar with the case, so I was telling her about the case, and then I told her about what the law enforcement released. Was it 2 days ago now? And she was talking about how she was like, you know, it's just ridiculous that, you know, they felt the need to go out and say she was suffering from menopause and alcohol. They're like, they could have said mental health issues and left it at that. They're like, you know, you never, you know, and she went further with it, and she said, you know, they would have never gone on and said, you know, oh, he was suffering from low testosterone, you know, if it had been a man that went missing. But
yeah. I was gonna say, let's watch this video here again. And well, I haven't seen it myself. So let's just watch it and go from there, really. Hello. Hold on, let me just hit up this. The guy that did the research running his mouth, he doesn't normally run his mouth unless he was asked by police to do so. I mean,
but he's critical. But he's been critical of the police,
right? And he had offered. The family had asked him to help, and then the police, that popo, they tasked him to the search. So meaning he had every right to know that it was a high risk. That searcher, you can see he was disappointed in how it was handled because he was tasked by the police for the search. So he was part of it. The family had asked, the popo let him help, and he was tasked to do, you know, his job, but never told that Nicola was high risk. And there you go, right there. You know, again, it's just sloppiness because, like he said, like anyone with, again, brain cells, that you would have handled something differently if you knew that this was a high risk thing, that you would have, you know, not just being told that someone slipped into the water, you know, which is what they just thought happened.
And this, just so before Sunny plays this, this was uploaded 12 hours ago. And Miracle Hearts, I don't know if there have been any significant updates today in Nicola's case.
Investigation going into the case.
Yeah, yes, and I think they touch on that in this a little bit. But then Miracle Hearts, just so you know, there was an update on Delphi, and the new hearing dates are June 15th and 16th. And the only reason they're both dates is because they scheduled 2 dates in case one of them falls through. So.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And Public Art Critic, where are you in the UK? Because I think you're in the UK, aren't you?
Yeah, he's in the
UK. So Public Art, I don't know how close Public Art Critic is to the area or not, but
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start playing this, and then you can answer, of course, in the chat there.
In fact, Wednesday's was collapsed.
Of this country have an opinion. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Text to 87222. Delighted to be joining the studio. Peter Blexley, a former Met Police detective. Pete, so much to talk about. You're the expert. Let me just give what I think to this point. We know from yesterday that on January the 10th, Nicola Bulley's family home was visited by police with health professionals. There was an issue that is still being looked into. We know that 17 days later, we've done the trail of what happened to her that morning, the dog walking, the phone, the bench, all of that stuff. We've heard the police initially say, look, she's in the river. Yep. Peter Folding, the dive and forensic expert, got involved. We'll talk about that. He said she's not in the river. 3 weeks elapses, and suddenly yesterday the police say, well, hold on a second, she has some vulnerabilities, she's high risk. Didn't know about that before. They must have known, by the way. And then a sort of hurried press conference sometime later saying, you know, we're telling you this because we're concerned for it. And by the way, there might now be 3 hypotheses. There might be the river, there might be somebody else involved, or she might have walked off. People are criticising me online this morning and saying, stop slagging off the police. I think when Suella Braverman, when the police watchdog, and every single retired copper I've spoken to so far says this is a comms disaster by Lancashire Police, I don't think we're being overly critical, do you?
You're not alone in being criticised, by the way. I'm joining you on that front. Because anybody would think it was our fault. You know, those of us who comment in the media, those like yourself who present in the media for highlighting the shortcomings, the handling of the information and all the press conferences that Lancashire Police have conducted throughout this search for Nicola, and I've watched them all, I think have come way, way short of what should be expected. In fact, Wednesday's was calamitous, absolutely appalling. When they said there were vulnerabilities, but they're private and personal, we're not going to tell you, only for a few short hours to have to complete an enormous U-turn.
Do you think the family knew at that point when she let vulnerabilities out of her mouth, the SAO? Do you think in the next few hours they scrambled around and told the family they were going to release it?
I would imagine so, yeah. The family have confirmed that they knew the police were going to say that. But, you know, if we rewind 3 weeks today to the 27th, when Nicola first went missing, if the police had said on that day, because let's face it, we know that they will have known there were vulnerabilities.
Absolutely.
The moment she
from
went
the
missing,
10th of January, 17 days before.
From the 10th of January, and anything that Nicola's partner might have told them on the day she went missing. So they knew. If they had been honest and open and transparent right from the start and say, this is a vulnerable woman.
Yep.
She has issues. And they could then have packaged those issues up however they wanted. For example, they might have said she has mental health issues, which I think would be far more delicate than saying alcohol and the perimenopause, but that's just my opinion. Then I think people would perhaps have trusted the police release of information a bit more than they do now. Because if you can't trust the messaging, some people are not going to trust their investigation.
And this is my point. And when people say, well, you're being super critical, from the 10th of January, when she was visited, he was visited in the home, the police will have that on record. They chose to go down the line of, you know what, she's definitely fallen in the river. To me, when I watched that SIO in that press conference, it looked to me, and I said it earlier, as if they were furiously backtracking. They felt under pressure. Several hours later, they released this information. Here's something I want to ask a respectable ex-copper. And I know nothing about police work. Why in the name of the Lord was the crime scene not cordoned off? We know that suddenly Oliver Mirtich, our reporter, Whitfield Mirtich, was saying, you know, people were coming down from all over the place. Amateur sleuths were doing things online and TikTok. I mean, why? I mean, let's just say that she left the phone and dog there and walked off. Let's just say she was... Why would that not have been cordoned off, Pete?
Because for the first 3 days, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, they dealt with it entirely as a missing person inquiry. That's why we never saw it cordoned off. It's why over the course of that weekend, we saw people's bags propped up against that bench and a bouquet of flowers were placed on that bench. The SIO, Rebecca Smith, only came on board on the Monday. So the search by then was 4 days old. And she, of course, very stridently at the press conference on Wednesday, reaffirmed their working hypothesis that that Nicola went into the river. And again, she was very firm in saying no evidence of criminality and no evidence of third-party involvement.
Let me counter that. Peter Folding, who is the dive expert, forensic expert, and I've spoken to him all week, and I'll just say what I think. He came on and offered his help. The police presumably accepted that. He supported the police. However, when he found out about the alcohol issues and the vulnerability, this is what he told us on Talk TV. Watch this and listen to this.
Well, Jeremy, if I'd known this information on day one, I handle I've worked on complex murders and cases, missing people since 1999. If I'd been given that information, and I am trusted, that wouldn't have been handed to the media, it would have been confidential, and I would have changed my whole search strategy. I assumed, Jeremy, that Nicola had slipped into the river, and it's only 2 foot deep at the bottom of the bank. And that's why I've been so adamant that she's not in that part of the river. We've thoroughly searched it. If she had jumped in or intended to take her own life or walked off or wherever she is, that would change my whole plan. She could have ended up in the sea. But everything, it's changed this, and it's really annoyed me.
In terms of, I mean, I read this, tell me if it's wrong. You've faced a barrage of criticism and out of total respect, I think, for the family, you've given your services for free and you keep coming back. I now read or hear that you're going to be part of a land search. And don't take this the wrong way. I thought your expertise was diving. And again, I would say to you, as I said to Mark, what does it say about this police investigation that there need to be contractors from outside giving their services for free and coming and helping out?
No, actually, Jeremy, my expertise is I've specialised in land search. I've worked on April Jones. I've worked on the Peter Tobin case. I find buried human remains. So that's where I work. So it's awful. This is an awful case, and I just wish it had been handled a lot better in the first place by giving certain information that would have helped us target our search in specific areas.
Pretty damning, Pete.
Yeah, and of course we can add Mr. Faulding to the list that you and I are on, because it's all our fault. It's all our fault that Lancashire Police's media strategy has been absolutely appalling.
I mean, he got slaughtered. You're after a book deal, you're after this. And I absolutely wanted to make the point. He's a forensic search expert, as somebody said. Nick from London, you're right. The bottom line is, this is the bit I don't get. Lancashire Police, you saw Nick Thomas... Mark
Williams Thomas.
Very good. Well done. It's early in the morning. Suddenly, a lot of people, not disrespecting him or Peter Faulding, arriving in Lancashire. What does that say about Lancashire Police as well? And you know, I do understand people saying, don't just slag off the police. We're not doing it out of disrespect. We're doing it out of frustration, aren't we, man?
Because we want an effective police service in the UK.
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
That's why I hold them to account. That's why I highlight their mistakes, their errors, their inefficiencies, because the public deserve a competent police service that they can trust and be confident that they will do their job properly. But at the moment, it's completely right to say that policing, in many regards, is in crisis.
And if you look at Carrick, you know, we talked about it earlier, 36 life sentences for raping women over a 20-year period because of his warrant card and the fact that he had, you know, a gun license or whatever. When you talk about all the complaints with the Met, this is the last thing they needed. But Lancashire Police has actually already given themselves to the police watchdog. Suella Braverman's got involved. And one brings it back, Pete, repeatedly to this poor, poor family. This man and his daughters are going through hell. And I suspect from what Peter Faulding said, that if other information that they had been made available to people who needed it, this maybe would have been resolved sooner. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say what you think, but let's just say she took herself or was taken off further down the river. There's the estuary, there's the sea, there's unbelievable thoughts spring into everybody's minds. But I do think the Lancashire Police have, as I said, their comms has been appalling. Let me read you a few. Deborah in Leeds says, Jez, I do not blame the police. I blame her friends coming on TV giving interviews. The police only release what the family have told them. Too many people interfering. Mark from Sunbury, standard police tactic, label people as drunks to cover their own incompetence or corruption. Think of it, Hillsborough. Interesting. Martin of the West Midlands. Morning, Jez. Can I just say this regarding Nicola Bulley? This isn't the only case of someone who has suffered with mental health and alcohol. Police don't care about us. One officer once told me, I bring it all on myself and I need to damn well get on with it. Nick in London. Whilst I agree with what you and Pete are saying, Nicola wasn't coherent during the meeting. She was merely logged on to the team's call. Let me put this to you, Peter Blexley. How would you have done this differently from day one?
Well, the communication would have been vastly different. Working closely with the family, and I suspect Lancashire Police have, but they've still made a very ham-fisted effort of it. Communication is so important to get the public on side. Listen to those messages that you've just read out, so many of them echoing discontent and unhappiness with the British police.
Spoke to Nicola Thorpe last night on the show's family live in the area, whose mother went out on one of the searches, and a lot of the locals are disgusted to be labelled vigilantes when actually what they're trying to do is help out in the community. They've heard nothing from the police, but of course they're also frustrated as they're being labelled by the same TikTokers and people coming in trying to make money out of this whole sorry mess.
So Lancashire Police, as we know, went to Nicola's home on the 10th of January, and that matter is still under investigation. Now, the fact that that news breaks this week, in the same week that we discovered that the Metropolitan Police could and should have arrested Wayne Cousins for indecent exposure before he kidnapped and murdered Sarah Everard, you know, there is a big, big issue here. Why are the police appearing to be incapable of swiftly and effectively investigating matters which are not huge, great, complex inquiries?
I mean, I think this is the point, and I stand by everything that you've said and I've said this morning. I don't want in any way, I mean, let me just nail this. There are thousands of policemen and women doing a fantastic job, the length and breadth of this country, and I should think they are more frustrated than any of us. But there is undoubtedly, here, certainly in Lancashire, it's a PR disaster. And there are plenty of other examples, Pete, as you say, within the Met. People's confidence in the British police is at an all-time low. Whether you like that or not, that's the fact, isn't it?
We've got 6 police services in special measures, not just the Met, Devon and Cornwall and others. And there's appalling news stories coming out about our police every single week. Look at Devon and Cornwall, who so foolishly, as came out in the inquiry last week, gave that man back his gun, who then went and slaughtered 5 people. You know, what is going on? Where is the common sense in British policing? Where is the robustness to deal with things properly, simply, effectively? I think the leadership cohort that are all very highly educated these days, with letters after their names as well as in front of them, have kind of morphed into some detached, self-serving rather than public-serving cohort. I'm sure there are some good ones, but, you know, I struggle sometimes to name any. And quite frankly, there is a detachment from the public, from the wishes, the needs, the wants of the public, and the whole ethos of public service seems to have been somewhat lost in the need to protect their own interests.
Let me finish with this. Lancashire police are a joke. What happened to confirm, clear, cordon and control? Thank you to Tony. Ryan says, I still think there is more than they're letting on. Why did being an alcoholic make a high risk that the police responded almost instantly? Interesting. Jeremy, the police never have the resources to do all search and rescue. I believe there are search and rescue volunteers all over the country. But for us to finish, who the hell do you think you are speculating? You lot know nothing about the police work. You're not entitled to know anything. It should be up to the police. Don't talk about things you don't know about. I'll let you finish with that, Peter Blexley.
Well, give me the name of that contributor, please.
There's no name at all.
Oh, there's no name.
No.
Well, let me tell you, no name, right?
No name.
I did a bit of policing in my time.
Yeah.
I am a commentator and a writer about policing matters. I'm contemporary, up to speed. I have policing sources the length and breadth of the country, so I feel like I'm pretty fairly well qualified to sit in and say my bit.
I completely agree. And just to finish, how would you, in a balanced way, sum up the story, the sad story of Nicola Bulley so far in terms of Lancashire Police, briefly?
In terms of the information, catastrophic.
And where do you think they go next? I mean, do they get the public back on side? What happens? That's
Assistant Chief Constable Lawson alluded to the fact on Wednesday that at some point they're going to have to cut down resources.
Terrifying. Peter Blexley, is ever a complete pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I thought he was going to turn us yellow for a second. I was like, Adam, all these words going on. But no, it's
Sorry.
not. No, it's not good. I was just like, ooh, every time one of those words came out, I was like, ooh, yeah.
Um, and Miracle Heart says, total speculation, but what if there was a domestic incident and husband knew she had the call at 9 a.m., took the phone and the dog, signed into the call, and left it lay on speakerphone on bench? Miracle Heart, I'm going off my pure gut here. Well, no, I'm not. One, Paul has never been seen anywhere on CCTV footage or by any of the witnesses that were in the park that day as being involved. He also, I believe, has been confirmed to have been at a different location. I can't remember.
Yeah, he does have an alibi for that day.
Right. And I'm sure that, anytime that, of course, anywhere someone goes missing, the partner or the domestic partner at this point is always going to be the first person they look at. So I'm going to give law enforcement definitely the benefit of the doubt and think that, they've done their due diligence when it comes to Paul. My gut tells me Paul had nothing to do with this.
Right. I mean, well, I was going to say, at the end of the day, we don't really actually know anything.
No, we
to
don't.
Be honest.
That's why I'm saying it's total speculation and it's my gut. But really, my gut does tell me that Paul has nothing to do with this. I mean, I know that might be an unpopular opinion, but until I hear otherwise, I'm going to stand by it.
I was just going to say, because I think like anything, I never really dived into the financial aspect of anything. I didn't know anything about it.
I knew about the bankruptcies and the failed businesses. Yeah.
Yeah, the failed businesses. Again, and then when people are going, well, who's pushing the narrative here? About the same day but a little bit different. So I can see why people are going down that route, because it's just one of those things. Because that the first person that's ever looked at is going to be
always, as it should be.
Always. But but the thing with this, Adam, here is that because they have been so focused and they literally again, they've handled this completely wrong. Just completely wrong. Just like that guy said, and I didn't even know he said that either, about sealing off the scene, as a crime scene, because do you normally come across a phone and a dog just sitting there and then go, oh, well, let's for 3 days think it's a missing person, and you literally don't take control of that area? What?
Yeah. No forensics were done on that bench. No forensics were done until at least 4 days later.
What about dogs? I mean, like, seriously,
right. That's why I asked last night, about Willow being brought back to the area and, to see what Willow, because, let the dog tell you what because dogs are instinctual animals and dogs are always going to follow their gut, if you will, or their, what their memory bank is.
I mean, it's very strange in the fact that Willow had every opportunity to leave underneath that gate. Right now, I think public is saying hey, we haven't seen any CCTV footage to prove she was there. I mean, I'm not going to go that far off course for the fact that she was loading Willow into the vehicle.
We've seen no CCTV footage at all. We've not even seen we've not seen the CCTV footage outside of the house. Even we've only ever seen still photos of it. But I mean, look at the corroboration that it would take to, we have how many witnesses that saw her that morning. We know that we know people saw her dropping the girls off at school. So I think that right there, that idea of she wasn't the one that dropped the girls off could be dispelled immediately, because if anyone that's ever dropped children off at a school, you're not the only car in the parking lot.
Right.
And where they park, if you look at the map for where they park at that school, she was seen by people at that school dropping the girls off.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that, if someone's saying, oh, she probably wasn't alive yet, or she wasn't alive still at that point, to me can be dispelled by witness statements from the school.
Or the fact that the
person
on the other end of the phone and the girls. Yeah, I mean, the girls would have seen their mom.
A 9-year-old can tell you.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry.
I mean, no. I'm just thinking too. Plus, they talked to the person that was on the other end of that phone. So she obviously had her phone, talking to the gentleman, her boss or whatever it was. on that
She
call.
sent an email. Yeah, and I know email can be fake, but to me, I'm like, you're not going to get a 6 and a 9-year-old that missed their mom to go along with a narrative that isn't true.
Yeah, that's what I call. That's more to me going into that little bit of, far out there, more thoughts than close. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's things to disprove, like to prove that she was there, obviously that day. So anything beyond that is starting to go off the beaten path of, I think, what happened to her. I keep getting she's still alive on my pendulum over and over. Each time I get a yes. It's never said no. I asked. I asked while we were watching that big circle right away again, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping that she was in this place in her mind where she just felt maybe like she was, causing her family more harm than good, in a sense that, she just left her life, disappeared. I'm hoping that's truly the case, and that. Go ahead.
Do you think for her girl's sake that's better, or I'm sorry,
No, obviously not.
This probably sounds tacky, but is it better for her girls, or is it worse for her girls than if she met malicious intent?
If she met malicious intent?
No, if she met malicious intent. Like, is it better that she left on her own, or is it better that something?
No, it's better she left on her own.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I can understand, because people have done this all the time. We see stories on it, and you think, who in their right mind would leave their kid in a vehicle and then take off? And yet the mom is found a few states over after they leave their kid in their car. So it's not like it's not a normal thing that everyday people do. But it depends where your mindset is at, and we can't speak for this. We know that January 10th, they said, of course, that it's still under investigation. Where in this spot was her mind? So I'm hoping for the best result, that she's still out there, that she's still alive. I mean, let's just say she was abducted and she's still alive that way as well, perhaps. But I'm hoping for the best result would be that she literally just wanted to leave her life, and that's simply it.
I feel so bad for those little girls either way. It's just, because they don't deserve any of this.
No, exactly. That 9-year-old, like myself and my grandma Rini had passed. I just remember it was the first time I understood, like, say, deaths type of thing. Now, of course,
because even at 6, you understand it.
Well, yes, you understand it, but a little bit more obviously if 3 years later.
At 9, absolutely.
Meaning that, like, I felt sick to my stomach, and I couldn't sleep and stuff like that. So, I don't know how these girls are exactly reacting. At the end of the day, they want their mommy back, and in their heads, I bet you right now, they're still thinking that their mommy's coming back.
Right.
You can guarantee that they're still thinking mommy's, mommy's just lost. She's gonna find her way back home. Because they're not gonna, like, they don't know what happened to her.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, guys.
Public. I'm not saying I've not heard any confirmation that she was seen at school. I'm just using common sense as far as, that they had to have asked the girls. Like I said, to me, the girls are going to be the best witness account as far as the fact that she dropped them off at that school, because a 9-year-old is not going to go along with a narrative that she didn't drop them off. The school, we know that her car was found in the parking lot. So I'm going by the account that, that she is the one that dropped those girls off. Plus, teachers, parents, there's always someone out there watching kids when they come into the school. It's not 1975 anymore. So it's not like you just pull up and they drop the kids off. There's a whole process involved when you drop kids off at school now. And that's the same in the UK.
What makes sense is people identified her at the park that were walking the dog. So they identified her multiple. So when you put that all together, and I believe that it was said about the school thing, to be honest with you, I don't know what interview, however, but and it just, like I said, there's too much going for the fact that she was there versus against.
I don't see a 6 and a 9-year-old lying about that. I think, you know, a 6 and a 9-year-old are going to, they're so innocent at that age, they're going to crack under any kind of, even if they were told to say something differently, they're going to crack under the smallest bit of, you know, pressure. And those poor girls, like I said, those poor girls,
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm going to play another video. It's Sky TV News, and they take us on, they're going to take us over to that area and talk about it. And I really like the fact that in that one interview, the first one that you sent, is it the first one? Did you send that one? The one where John, they're talking about John in there. Oh no, I didn't know that. That was the one I had, but I hadn't watched it. And then so when I saw that guy John, which was the guy that owns the white dog that saw her,
oh yeah,
you know, it was nice to see him.
Life called.
Yes. Again, so because we hadn't seen anything, really, and so it was nice to see that he was on camera, talking about it. So let me just hit stop screen.
Yeah.
Presents.
And while you're doing that, I also will say really quickly that, you know, if, you know, the footages, the pictures that have come out from outside of her house when she's loading the dog and the girls into the car, they're going to be time-stamped. That's from a video that the law enforcement have. So they're clearly going to be able to corroborate that with the video they have, with the cell phone movements that they're going to be able to track, that they tracked, you know, leading to the school. That, you know, to me, tied with the fact that, you know, the girls aren't going to lie, show that, in my opinion, that Nicola is the one that went into that dog park with Willow.
Yeah, there's just too much there to me, public, that everything goes towards. They've confirmed it. People saw her again. There's just too much more, way more for the fact that she was there than against.
And you're right, public kids can be dropped off from a car, but people still see you.
They see your vehicle. The vehicle's on camera. The vehicle's still on camera regardless at some point with the, you know, CCTV, even if it's not in the spot where she was at that particular, you know, during the walk. But anyways, let's watch this, you guys, and we'll be right back.
The car park, which is where she came with the dog and the kids, dropped them off at school, and then we're going to walk along the road, just to give you an overview, walk along the road, walk down by the river, and then from there we are going to walk around the fields and try to get an idea of what might have happened. So that happened at exactly 8:40.
Yep, 8:40
from
right
here
now.
What happened?
So Nicola came, parked up her car here. She dropped off her kids at school. She would have taken her dog Willow out of the car park, as she normally did, and walked her along this path next to the car park of the tennis club and the school, and along the school.
Spin round if you want to have a look, rather than there we go. So,
and this is a very normal route for Nicola. Almost every single morning, this is exactly what she would have done. Her kids coming to the school to our left as well. And this is a busy road. In Skip down there is where the family home is. So she would have come down this road and then onto the road up there, a very busy main road.
This is Blackpool Road.
Yeah, Blackpool Lane it is, yeah. And the police have stressed about Blackpool Lane because there are hundreds of cars.
700 vehicles.
Yeah, that would have passed through that morning. And so they are clear, they want to try and speak to every single one of those drivers to get as much dash cam footage as they possibly can to try and piece together what exactly has gone on. So she would have crossed this road and would have walked down this path, which heads up to not only the bridge which she crossed, but in fact the church which she would have passed. And she would have come up here to this iron bridge, which again has been another real focal point of the last 3 weeks. Look at all these beautiful ribbons daffodils that have been tied up with messages. Nicola's partner came down here, leaving a message on one of them as well. And as we just go a bit forward, we get to the other side of the bridge, and essentially the start of the path which is next to the river. This is the path that runs along the river wire, and it was 8:43.
Yeah.
This time.
This is when
right now, 3 weeks ago.
so
there
you
she
know,
arrived.
quite a pace she was walking at, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. We walked, and she's got a dog with her. Probably the dog, running a bit ahead of her. You're a dog walker
time
yourself.
We see the river wire there.
Over 2 weeks before that morning, she had a visit from police because of concerns for welfare.
Yeah, we
big
know that a
question.
medical team went to the home on the 17th of January, and they haven't told us anything more than that. But we do know that the police have referred themselves to the complaints committee as a direct result of that moment.
And if we just pause here, because before we get to the upper field, it was around this time, roughly about 8:50, that Nicola was then spotted by another dog walker.
Yeah.
Someone who knew her, walking around the lower field with their dog as well. The two dogs actually interacted before the other dog walker went off and took the river path, which we've just come down. And Nicola then carried on with her dog Willow.
So
very shortly, she would have just been finishing her email off, which goes to her boss.
Yeah. And so she's looking at the dog. She's making sure the dog's all right.
Yeah.
You know, from my own experience, you keep an eye on them, but you're doing other things as well. The sheep across the way there, just obviously keeping an eye on what's going on. And then she sends the email.
Yeah. At 8:53, police say right now, 3 weeks ago, Nicola hit send.
Yeah.
And an email was sent to her boss.
Yeah. So if you're just tuning our way, we are retracing the steps of Nicola Bulley. 3 weeks ago today, it's 9 o'clock, and she would have been on a Teams call about now.
Yeah, it was about a minute's time or so. She logged into that Teams call. I imagine the meeting started at 9 o'clock. Nicola logged in about 1 minute past 9.
Yeah.
She would have held the
Still
phone
on this
out
path?
of her. Yeah. Yeah, she was just walking along this upper field here.
Yeah.
She would have held the phone out in front of her, police said. And that's where...
Well, that's what you do, isn't it? When
You've got it on
a
speaker.
Teams.
You hold it out in front of you.
Yeah.
And she wasn't talking. She wasn't on video. It was
Her
just
pace
simply...
would have been slower here because she was listening to what was being said.
Yeah. And again, as I mentioned, her dad said in relation to work, she was in good spirits. She just, as a mortgage advisor, had just got a deal through. So she was happy about that. And, she sent an email to her boss.
And she starts to join a Teams conversation. The camera's not on, the audio is not on, but she is holding it out
And
in front
listening.
of us. And we know that because somebody saw her right now.
Yeah, it was at 9:10 here on the upper field that somebody then saw Nicola, a witness that has been spoken to by police. So 3 weeks ago, let's put this in perspective, 3 weeks ago, 9:10 in the morning, somebody saw Nicola walking with her dog Willow here.
Just to illustrate, that this is where the dog walkers come all the time.
Yeah.
Her partner came along, Paul, and he's retraced these steps many times, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. And he came down pretty much straight away. He wanted to see what was the scene like, what happened here straight away. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Come on
Fine.
through.
Do come
How
through.
are you?
No, not at all.
Good to see you.
You live here?
Well, it has been like that. So you actually saw the phone, is that right? Yeah. You saw the phone that Friday morning?
Yes.
Yeah, and that was around, was it after 9:30?
I gave a full statement to the police with the exact time because my wife's telephone call had the time on it. So, but I've given a full statement.
Yeah.
Was it just on the bench, or was it just on the bench?
The phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's the last 3 weeks been?
Each day something new comes out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
and in terms of, when you saw phone lead and Willow, who you knew who Nicola was.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you knew the Willow. That was it, wasn't it? You knew you knew Willow.
I knew I'd seen both the owners of Willow walking this dog in the past. But whilst I knew them by face, like I know your face, I didn't know the name.
Yeah. But I remember you actually telling me when you saw the phone, that the lead and Willow, you were like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on it because something doesn't feel right.
I thought somebody had gone to the toilet in the. You know, that would have been my first. I got to about this red brick building here, and I thought this is not right.
This is the part of the river where the police think that she has gone into the water. There's no sign here at all of you know, any scuffs or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is where her phone is found.
Yeah. Well, look, it's 9:20.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
9:20. 3 weeks ago, Nicola's phone had moved to this bench, but we're at a very important juncture right now. Okay, it's 9:30.
I did a 30-minute team call that ended. She'd logged on about 9:01. It had obviously started at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But she stayed logged on.
So police say that the team's call ended 9:30, but Nicola's phone remained logged on to that team's call. In other words, she hadn't ended the call.
So that happened 3 weeks ago right now.
Yeah. Approximately, police say it was 9:33 3 weeks ago that the lady who owns a caravan park just around the corner here actually spotted Nicola's phone, spotted Willow, and spotted the harness. She was another dog walker. So, you know, she noticed who Willow was, noticed who Willow belonged to, and then that's when things really kicked into action. And other locals got involved.
Yeah, so that's like the 45 minutes from when she dropped the children off at school. We've walked her walk today, starting in the car park, walking along Blackpool Lane, going past the 16th century parish church, very beautiful building, walking down to where we are, and then going around the loop, the lower field, and then up to the upper field, sending an email to her boss saying hello to people that she knew along the way, dialing into a Teams call just after it started at 9 o'clock, making her way to where we are now. We know that her phone made its way to here. It was left on the bench. The dog was here. The harness was here. There was literally no further sign of Nicola, and that has been the case for the last 3 weeks. It has been perplexing for Lancashire Police. It has been devastating for her family. We'll have continuing coverage here on Sky.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. So there's that gentleman again. I don't find him sketchy at all myself. Saw the couple there before. Saw them walking the dog. Saw the phone. So I mean, obviously something happened to her that made her stay logged in prior to that time. I mean, it's just kind of probably a given there. Whether she left. Yeah. I mean, everything I keep asking Pendulum. What's she gonna do? What's she gonna do? Everything that I keep asking Pendulum keeps telling me that it was her, that she's the one that left, that she's the one that left the phone on the thing, that she's still alive. Right. Everything I'm getting from Pendulum is what's saying to me. Not to say that that's accurate, member for entertainment purposes only. I just ask it and just see what it says. But everything I get is more that she did this. So we'll see. So what did you guys think about that?
No, I thought it was very good. I had not seen that yet, Sunny. So thank you.
Yeah. I hadn't seen it either. Sometimes I like things to be organic, and I just like to show them and watch them at the same time. And so I mean, I was watching that and listening to it for the first time too. So I mean, it kind of goes back to that video that Michelle After Dark put out where she's saying that the old guy, because I hadn't heard that myself about the old guy seeing the phone. We just heard that he saw.
I kind of liked him.
I know the old guy.
Yeah, he seemed like a lot of British older men that I've met at pubs and stuff over the years. You know.
Yeah. But yeah,
no nonsense, just kind of.
Yeah, pretty much, right? No nonsense. You know, usually the older generation is more like that.
Right.
You know, no nonsense stuff.
But then again, I do have a soft spot for for British and Irish and Scottish people because
yeah,
I don't know, their accent turned me on.
I know. I know. My husband, like I said, I always have the soft spot because he always just whenever he uses the accent, and I don't know what it is. It's just when they're using different words than what we would normally say, and it got the accent to it. It's for me. It's like brrr, okay. Yeah. He's the brother-in-law. Go ahead. So he's the brother-in-law of Penny. Here's a name I haven't heard.
That's her name.
Penny's the one that knew who they were. Is that
she's the owner of the caravan park?
Okay, so that's not the grumpy old lady that saw.
Yes.
On there. Is she the grumpy old lady?
Public art critic, correct me if I'm wrong, but yes, the grumpy old lady. Her name is Penny. I'm not doxing her, but her first name is Penny.
Well, he just said it right there.
Yeah.
Penny. Yeah, and so he's the brother-in-law of Penny, the caravan owner. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just not, like I said, I just watch people and I get my own personal gut instinct. He's a guy that just did his thing, perhaps. I don't know.
Right.
But again, like it keeps being said that that dog walker saw them up in the upper field there, you know, at 9:10. Because it says witness at 9:10, but he obviously walked by and saw the phone there, you know.
Right.
So how did that happen?
Yeah, thank you, public art critic. Thank you. I knew that was her name. I just wanted someone to confirm it. But and Miracle Heart, really quickly, if I could say, Miracle Heart, you know, I understand what you're saying about, you know, but to me, if you don't know that foul harm is going to come to you, she's not going to take any precautions with her mobile device, which means when she dropped those girls off, the mobile device would be tracked going back to the house. So if you're saying that something could have happened to her when she got home from taking the girls to school, law enforcement would know that her phone traveled from the school back to the house and not the dog park. And so to me, that dispels that possibility. They know that phone went from the, you know, whether you argue that was actually Nicola or not, they know that phone went from the school, walked to the dog park. I know it's not a dog park, but people use it for dogs. And then to the point where they even knew that at 9:20 it started moving again from the upper field to the bench. So to me, that's why I dispel the idea that she drove back to the house.
Was there a car not probably found left there at the school?
Well, no, her car was there, but I think Miracle Hearts was just saying that, you know, what if something happened to her? What if she drove home and then something happened to her and then her car was brought back there?
It doesn't make sense.
No, and that's what I'm saying. You know, that the phone would have tracked those movements because she wouldn't have been aware something nefarious was going to happen to her.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, right? Her phone is at the park.
And that did happen, public art critic.
You know, so bottom line is it really comes down to the fact that she was seen by, say, old bag lady or whatever.
I think 4 witnesses.
You know, and then by the older gentleman there, and then
and 2 females.
Yeah. Wait, what?
There were 2 females. The woman in the red jacket saw her, and then there was another woman that saw her. So there were, I think, 4.
Hold on.
I believe there
Where
were 4 witnesses that saw her and the dog walking Willow.
Okay, so they totally have been talking about 2. So are you talking about the other 4 were on the before she got to the park?
No. I believe there were 4. I believe they have 4 witnesses total in the dog park that have said they saw Nicola.
No, we've only ever heard of 2, Adam. Like unless we've only ever heard 2.
I'll look to substantiate that, and then I'll either admit I'm wrong or confirm it tonight.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I mean, every plan that somebody does up, just like these guys, this news station, they got 2 witnesses, and that's all we've ever heard about. Was we heard about the old grumpy lady that knew Nicola, and that's why, hence knowing her, and then the witness.
Have you heard about the red? You've heard about the red coat woman, right?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
All right. Well, like I said, I'll substantiate it just to make sure I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, it would be the first time I've heard of it. No one's ever said more than these 2 people that I've heard of in anything I've watched myself. Yeah, so I've never heard of this jacket thing. No. Is anybody else?
I'll have my people call your people.
Yeah, we'll have our people. Right, exactly right. So, the thing is, at the end of the day, she's logged into, let's just say, she's logged into this phone call. Like I said, I don't like to get, you guys can, but I don't. I don't like to get too far off the beaten path. I don't, meaning we saw, we heard that the old lady knew who she was. Their dogs interacted. We heard that this guy had seen the husband and wife walking, didn't know their names, but knew who of them by their faces and their dog. Then she's obviously walking. She's in a team call, but so only today do I realize that she actually wasn't talking. I thought she was actually talking in this team call, but really she was just logged on listening.
Right.
So do we so that's the thing that I question in my head. Like the news is saying, well, she just did a deal and blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe that phone call actually didn't go that way. Maybe the phone call went really crappy, to be honest with you. We don't know. They could have said that. Who knows if that's true or not? Do they have something that shows that some successful deal went down? I don't know. I would be more suspicious of, was she having this bad life moments going on, and did something happen on that phone call where she was like I'm done, I'm did she more hear bad news as she was on it? Anyway, bottom line is her phone's logged in. The thing ends at 9:30, and her phone is still logged in past that point, which would tell you typically that at that point something had happened. And everyone will be thinking, well, she wouldn't just leave her dog, because usually, dogs are your loyal friends. Those are the things that love you regardless. When you have an animal, most people that's your animal, that's your pet. That thing's usually sometimes better than adults, for sure. Red coat woman is Penny. Okay.
No, and public art critic, I'm pretty sure. I'm thinking of a different lady. So like I said, I'll substantiate it, and like I said, I'll either admit I'm wrong or I'll provide proof tonight.
I think
I did find something that said Nicola Bulley was seen on the river path after the school drop off at 8:43 a.m.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, for me, like I said, and everyone, of course, you guys have your own theories, because that's the beauty of minds working together. Things that somebody say that maybe somebody didn't think about. I try to stay with the logical of what we know and base it around that. I don't usually like to go too far off the beaten path, because it usually isn't that far off the beaten path. So now I think if I'm not mistaken, public. So Penny is the old lady.
The 4th person was the woman in the yellow jacket that was pushing a pram.
Okay, I heard something about a pram, in. Somebody made a comment in here one day about a pram.
Well, police have asked about a woman that was pushing a pram wearing a yellow jacket in the area, but that she was a witness and not that they were looking at her for any any nefarious reason.
I wonder if that was outside of the area more so, like that the pram was more down the.
I'm not sure.
Let me say, like I said, all I've ever seen so far, and so unless you can find something that I
So
haven't
the only
seen,
ones you've heard of are the man and then Penny.
Yeah, it's only two I've ever heard of.
Or
Anyone
Grumpy.
talking about. Mm-hmm. I need the videos we watched yesterday too. Let's see here. Hold on a second. You know, I mean, it's a very mind-boggling case. It is. It's like, come on, like somebody knows something.
Right. Someone has to.
And her family is making comments like, you know, if you're out there, you know, basically come back to us, you know, because they know of the issues that's going on.
Here's her picture. This is the picture the police released.
Is that the one that you just sent me now?
Of the yellow jacket.
You sent me footage.
Yeah. No, I sent you that. I sent you an article, but then I also sent you a picture.
Oh, I didn't see that yet. Oh, there it is. It just came in now. Okay, so yeah, so that's walking along. That would be the path.
That's
right?
allotment lane. Yeah, it's in the path. So, you know.
If anywhere.
And that was 2 weeks ago that woman came forward.
Let me just. Okay, so let's see. Bring that back up. Okay. So that looks like the path, correct?
Yeah.
And then it looks like she's heading out. If anything.
I'm not. Yeah.
Well, that's the side of the gate.
Yes.
Where this
yeah, that's the side of the gate.
So.
And apparently this woman did come forward.
Okay. So that's why I'm saying. So what I think we typically have been seeing, even though I would think that we would see more of that, but what we keep seeing is more the pictures that are within that park area.
Yeah.
You know, because to me, I'm sure there's more people that's seen her, for sure, like at school, but yet they just kind of keep doing diagrams of the two people that were in the park area so much. Virgo Summer. Hello, Virgo Summer.
Thank you, Virgo Summer.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we need an April rain and sunny showers. Dun, dun, dun. Great place to disappear from. People saw her. So you sent me an article too, Adam?
Yeah, it was the same thing about the yellow jacket woman. The picture was all you really needed to show.
Oh, okay.
It kind of told everything. It's just that had been looking for a woman that was wearing a yellow jacket pushing a pram.
Yeah.
But she came forward. But there also was like I said, there was a woman in a red jacket that I heard.
Google Map Emma's wedding venue, Marsh Farm Hall. Let me just see that. Marsh Farm Hall, Gangster Road. Search. Let me stop it. Hold on. Let me do. Okay. So that is here.
Okay. Here's the red jacket.
Is there a red jacket lady?
Yeah. These were the other two witnesses I was talking about. So there was the yellow jacket woman and the red jacket woman.
Wait, now this lady's over near the fence, though. But that doesn't mean she was at that fence. Okay, because you see that fence in the background there?
Yes, like I said, these are the two witnesses that the police went looking for because they had them on CCTV footage in the area, and so both of them I think have come forward now.
Okay. Let me go back to this for a second though. So look where the river is. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to Google Maps here. Okay, the river's over here. I can't see what I'm on a different screen now. So let's go back to. So there's a caravan site.
Yeah.
I wish that this would show all the CCTV cameras.
Oh, I know, right? Well, I'm sure we could map them in with flags if we knew where they were. You said you had a picture of where they all were, didn't you?
Well, the picture. Okay, no, wait. Let me just finish off with this. With FM. So, Max River. She could have sneaked downstream along the river path, and somehow no one caught her crossing the bridge. You know, right? I don't think she. Well, that's just it, though, right? Any normal thinker out there would think, like, you can't picture it. You just can't picture someone leaving their best friend off leash. You just, I mean, it doesn't. That's something that usually doesn't make sense. You know, yet they can't find her in the water. So it's confusing because they feel like she's in the water. They put all their apples in that basket, basically. They haven't found her. She had on a big jacket. Here, let me quickly, I'm going to come off of this for a second. Stop screen, and I'm going to go back to.
Horrible. Sorry.
I want to go back to. Okay, so this is the lady in red right here. So is that building here? Like if you look at it?
No, because there's no fence there.
Oh, right. She said, when I look at this right here, I'm like, oh, that looks like. Okay, so
she's 92 feet tall.
Yeah. So this is where CCTV cameras were, main entrance.
Right.
And then this is the one on the fence. And they're showing, so this is the guy's house in the top field. So they're showing this not working, but they're showing this one working. So how does that make sense? So how does that make sense? Because if
there's two cameras there.
Right, but if this one's working and this
you have the red is where it wasn't working and the green was where it was.
Yeah, so how does that not see her? It's still facing the field.
Yeah. Which it might have. You know, that might be why that might be why the law enforcement have taken the witness statement so seriously, because they line up with the CCTV footage of what was shown. They might be pointing out that there was an area of a dead zone. So if she were to have left that field, the only way she could have left it is right there in that dead zone.
Well, where's the dead zone? Right, you talking about where the red camera's
that red triangle.
But the green camera is showing that it's still catching the field. Like
it's catching the upper field, but there is an area. Look, if you look at you can look at where the diagram breaks off. You can see if you're looking at the screen right now, if she had hugged to the right of that path, she could have been missed by the camera. Oh, like if she'd gone closer to the water, she could have been missed by the camera.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's go to screen. Go to. Come on, Google. Okay.
It does feel staged, public art critic. I understand. Yeah.
So, where am I? I'm on Google Maps. Okay, let's go back.
You're in Canada, BC.
Okay, so let's go back here, and where am I? Right here. Okay, so they're showing that this right here is the dead zone. This is where the
There are two
cameras
cameras there. One camera
Right.
was working, one was not. The one to that shows the side closest
Right.
to the water was not working.
Okay, so I see. So hold on. But either or, okay, so but the green one is showing here is working.
Yes. So they might have her on camera there when she was walking Willow up there.
So why wouldn't
But they're just pointing out that there's an area that's not covered by the camera, because two cameras next to each other aren't probably going to rotate. One is going to show this, one is going to show this way.
showing this way.
Yeah. And so they're just pointing out that there was a dead area closer to the water there along that path. Does that make sense, honey?
Yeah. Hold on.
And you can see even the cameras overlap a little bit because you can see that tiny bit of green underneath the red.
Whoa. Okay, there we go. Huh.
And as far as I know, unless she crossed the river, those are the only two exits from the park. So the only conceivable area, if she left the park, could have been through that dead area.
So this thing always ticks me off. So it's like I can't move the picture. Stupid picture. Smarten up picture. Okay. So it's like this is did I bring it in the wrong way or something? Because I should be able to move this sucker. Anyways. So this camera. Okay, that's obviously over there.
Yeah.
The houses. And then this. So this one here looks like it's okay. Properties. Where the heck are you? Get off my field. Delete. Where's my delete button? Go away. So
right.
This one, it's almost like it's catching more here.
Yes. Yeah.
Like it's like it's catching more here, but I don't know. So
right.
Was there a dead zone here? And this was, I don't know, but you think that this one would be focusing on the gate area.
We don't know that I don't think there was any camera footage. I don't think the camera footage extended all the way to the bench. They don't have, or else they would have footage of who laid that phone down on the bench.
Well, what's the point of having those cameras there? Like, what's the point of having those cameras?
Cameras can only show so far.
Well, duh. Yeah.
I mean, you have to. I mean, look, we saw that footage of the reporter and the guy and the woman walking along that path. Look how vast that field was. This is a large area.
Right, but
I mean, look at the size. Like the houses that are along that water up there. Those are really, really big, nice houses. And look how small they look compared to the vast area between the bench and the field.
In my head, all I'm thinking is this. Great. You're staring at...
It's a mile to loop that. When Nicola would walk that, it's over a mile.
Yeah. So my thing is like, so you got two cameras. One's facing over here. Whoop-de-doo. One's facing here. And if it's not but they said that the camera that would have captured things, it wasn't working.
That's what they said. There are two cameras there. One worked, one didn't.
Okay, wait. I know this.
I know you do.
My point is that they said though that you're saying, but what you're saying to me, Adam, is, well, why would? I mean, cameras can only go so far, is what you're saying. But they had
to see that bench.
No,
to see that bench, it would have. The camera can't go through the hedge.
Well, but we don't know how tall that hedge is versus.
Yeah,
the
we
camera.
do. We do. There's footage of that hedge. It's tall.
So you're saying that if that one was working,
I'm saying the camera that angled towards that bench.
Yes, I know.
Was working.
You're not listening to me too well.
I am listening to you. I'm
No,
saying
not
it
really.
didn't cover footage. I'm saying it didn't cover the area because of that hedge.
So maybe it was
one. The field is big, but that camera was not 20 feet in the air.
Yeah, I know, but still, you keep cutting me off instead of listening, I guess, to what I'm saying. Is that I hear what you're saying on this. So what I'm saying is so you're saying that this camera maybe covered this area here, not so much down to here. And so had this been working, they probably would have seen her.
Yes.
Maybe walking at least, but that the camera wouldn't have went this far. But this, hold on, sorry. Hold on a second. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense to me. Explain this one to me, Adam. So this is the one that was working. Yes. This is the one that was working. And what they said, Adam, was that that from this part of the field, I think where it wasn't working, is that they had said that from 9:20, the phone started heading back towards the bench, moving, but they had to use the digital data from the phone. So that's what I'm trying to make sense in my head. If this camera is working partially here and this one's not working over here, so then this one's probably more facing here and not catching her because she's probably coming back this way from the non-broken camera, and that's why they had to use the digital from the phone. And so that would make sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying because if you have a camera that's on the gate, and I apologize for cutting you off.
Well, it's just that I was trying to I talk as I'm thinking and talking at the same time.
Same.
And all I'm thinking in my head is make sense of this for me. But because most people, thanks, honey. Most people think of her being more up here, and most people, but it was right here. But if she was here, and that's where the camera's not working, then so this camera is more probably catching this view and not so much where she really was, which was if she was heading back with her phone, and that's why there's no camera footage. And that's because obviously if there was camera footage, they wouldn't be just searching the water and go ahead.
No, and exactly, public art critic. A lot of people have been like, well, why isn't there I can't ever say it, CCTV footage
I know, just
everywhere? And you're right. They don't, people think that there are cameras everywhere in the UK, but it's not uncommon that they wouldn't have cameras in covering the entire park. Their only the reason for CCTV footage is to keep crimes from happening and as a deterrent. So of course the fact they're going to be up near those houses makes the most sense. They're not going to be in every field in every vast area. So I agree with you, but it also should be noted that if someone did meet Nicola with foul play, they didn't. I mean, I can't imagine that they would have known that CCTV footage wasn't working because that camera was relatively new. So I'm like, to me, I'm like, the fact that those cameras were there were never a factor in them trying to evade them or something.
I think that it was said that Penny's son also worked for
He installed them.
TV.
He installed it. Yeah, because CCTV footage isn't necessarily all installed by the government. People put up their own cameras and they feed the basically the US is becoming more and more like that with Ring doorbells. But I've heard it said that Penny's son is the one that installed those two cameras.
Okay, here, and that's why a lot of people are going, hey now.
Hey now.
My husband brought me lunch, so feel free to take control.
Miracle Hearts, I don't know that name. I'll have to look that up. Heidi Plank. Her dog was found wandering and loose in a hotel. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that case. Oh wow, in LA they've never found her or solved the case. Okay. I'll have to screenshot that so I can look at that. Not that I need to add another case to the things I'm looking into.
I'm just trying to look for something I watched yesterday.
Right.
So give me a sec there.
Public art critic. I mean, I get what you're saying. Do you think the caravan people would know that because there was a physical camera pointed there? Do you think the caravan people would know that the camera wasn't working? And I'm just curious of your opinion, because none of us know for certain, of course. Yeah, and you're right. You're probably right, Miracle Hearts. I probably don't remember, but I have a pretty good memory. I remember the weirdest things. Like last night, someone asked about Australian cases, and I immediately was able to pull 2 cases out that I hadn't thought about in years. Lynn Dawson was one of them, for anyone that's looking into Australian unsolved cases. Tony, I have to ask, what's a WAP? Tony Martinez says, this case has more coat ladies than the Jacks. Something weird going on. Well, Tony's living down there in Kiwi land in New Zealand, so I'm sure he'd have a big puffy jacket on too if he was in the UK right now. It's been cold this winter there. Yeah. Now, I will say, FMG football mad gamer, I do remember the Elisa Lamb case. That was, for anyone that doesn't remember, that's the woman in LA that ended up in the water tank on the roof of the hotel. Yeah, exactly, Tony. I mean, she was the same age. Yeah, no, I'll have to look that up, Miracle Hearts. Thank you. You might have to remind me of it tonight because I'll probably forget. Sonny, what are you having for lunch?
Chicken strips and French fries. My husband went to what's it called?
Yes. Where?
Fat Burgers. I think Fat Burgers. But the chicken strips and that are really good there. But that one doesn't seem to be in my list that was really good that I watched yesterday. Don't you hate that when you watch something and then you go to your history and it should be there, but then it doesn't show up?
I know.
But I wanted to.
Typically, when that happens to me, Sonny, I'm like, oh gosh, I watched 9 videos since then.
Right? I know. Let me play this one, Adam. This is Emma White's full interview.
Oh, good. I've not seen this.
Okay.
This evening, can I ask you what have the past 2 weeks been like for you?
You can't put into words the roller coaster we've been on the past 2 weeks. It's the heartache, the torture, the disbelief, washed down with this immense hope. And then we've got this drive and focus to bring Nikki home. And then we've had to put emotions aside, being that support for Paul and the girls and my family, and just putting that brave face on, telling them everything's all right, but equally being honest with them, knowing that Nikki is missing and the girl's mum is missing. No 2 days has been the same, no 2 hours been the same, and just waiting for that good news and keeping that hope at the forefront of our minds.
We've heard a lot from Paul tonight, Nicky's partner, and he's told us a lot about the Nicola that he loves. What about the Nicola that you know so well?
Yeah, I think just from seeing her face out there, she's touched the nation, hasn't she? And everything that you see and a little bit more is what she is inside. She's beautiful, she's caring, she's thoughtful, she's kind, she's funny, she's loving, the most loyal friend. She's the stuff that dreams are made of, and we've laughed, we've cried, everyone in between. And then you take Nicky's lovely, amazing qualities, you add Paul's in there, and then we've got these two little human beings that we have to do everything to bring Nicky home and bring their mummy home for them.
I know that you and many other people have put everything on hold over the past fortnight, helping the family and helping the police as well. The community response has been incredible. I was up in St Michael's on Wye today. There's people everywhere on street corners holding up posters of Nicky everywhere. Has that struck you? I know you're a close-knit community anyway.
Yeah, we are a close-knit community, but that community near and far has united. Oh, it's been fundamental in raising the profile of Nicky's disappearance, generating those lines of inquiry. What I cannot stress enough is please keep those lines of inquiry, please keep them factual. Don't clog that 101 line that we really need to have that factual information come through to give the police lines of inquiry. Even the locals, with all the disruption they've had on the village, they've been so supportive. We've all got the end goal to bring Nicky home. Then we've got Peter and the SGI group offering their time and expertise to cement the great work that the police have done. And then the acts of kindness from everybody is just unimaginable. And I'd personally like to thank every single one of you, family, friends, strangers. It's the simple act of kindness that have made the biggest difference. And the strength that it's given me to then be able to be, I heard in Paul's interview, that pillar of support. With people supporting me, we've been able to support Paul and the girls, and I cannot thank everybody enough. And we need to bring Paul and Gert and the girls there rock home to bring Nicky home.
Well, Emma, I know you do an incredible job, and it's very much appreciated by Paul and many others there in the village. Thank you for your time.
All right, so that was, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, Public, about the whole, you know, that they look similar with their, you know, if their hair was down and
right. They do look very similar.
So I can see where, like, that little plot twist is kind of coming in from. That,
right.
You know, myself. You know, honestly, this is very weird. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, someone just doesn't disappear off the planet. She's around somewhere. She's somewhere.
Right. And you know, and if you unalive yourself, you don't hide your own corpse.
Right. You know, if Willow wasn't involved in the situation, I think it would be, you know, probably thought that she just left her life, you know, struggling with some issues, you know. But it's the dog thing that everyone goes back to, because the dog didn't alert to the, supposedly to the bench park, and it alerted, what was said was to the area at the back of the fields where that old man's house is, towards that area. But you know, you just can't picture an owner just going, yeah, well, but yet everything my pendulum says to my, like, and I don't take it for verbatim, of course, I just take it with a grain of salt, but it's like every time I ask it a question, it's always referring back to that she's the one that's done this, she's the one that left, she's the one that is still alive, she's the one that, you know. So
right,
I put it to the side, you know, like everything.
Does she have help?
NASA. I wanted to do a live, really, where we play with pendulum and ask it questions, to be honest, just for the sake of doing it. You know, I don't sit there and think it's no Bible or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. I just use it just
well, no, it's witchcraft.
You know. Yeah, well, it's good witchcraft then. Listening to Paul's interview. Do you want to listen to that one?
Yeah, I've watched Paul's interview, but sure, of course, for anyone that hasn't watched it.
Let me see here. which let's see.
I'll be excited to hear Psychic Sleuth's take on things tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't forget, you guys. Psychic Sleuth. She'll be on, but she'll be on about a half an hour after we go live. And actually, we're not going live, Adam, till 7:30 my time, which is 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Psychic
Darn, I'll be asleep. Kidding.
Yeah, I know. And then, Psychic Sleuth should be on a half an hour after our live starts. Lewis said he should be able to make it. Alexa will be here. And of course, me and Adam. And it's going to be a YOLO, just talking about the cases, talking about Delphi, talking about Idaho, talking about whatever, talking about, Nicola here. Because this one is kind of taking over. I'm not going to lie, it's taken over me. Wanting just to understand,
Same.
Like trying to put those puzzle pieces in my head together. And yet we know nothing really. Like,
Yeah,
we know
it's interesting because, I know, Sonny, you and I we both started, between, not even talking to each other about it, but I know we both started looking into this case early on.
Right. Yeah.
And so now that we're 3 weeks in, I think that the public interest in it has really ticked up to the point where it's nice to see the case getting some attention.
Absolutely. It's just heartbreaking all the way around.
Yes.
Any of these stories, but this one definitely intrigues me a lot.
Same.
Because nothing is truly making full sense.
Right.
She's not found in the water. She's wearing a heavy jacket. 1 second.
Right. And like what's he saying? Because it's not a case that should feel complicated or complex, but for some reason it is.
Right. Exactly. It should and so what are the chances that the camera that would have at least seen her isn't working? Right. What is so going against her on this?
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. And I'm not going to sit there and say, conspiracy theory that, somebody turned off the camera and they knew exactly at that point of the field. No, it's just sometimes what shit luck people have.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have the tentacles, if you will, that Delphi has so far. But,
right.
If I look at it from the simplest terms of look at the fact that, Libby took a video on the Monon High Bridge that day of the person that unalived them, allegedly. And yet we spent 6 years talking about speculation and rumors and who is this person, because even though she did everything right, we couldn't see his face.
Yeah.
And what luck is there? And then if, say, Keegan Klein's not involved, what luck is it that she has 2 horrible instances happening at the same time?
And what luck that in 2017 Richard Allen was interviewed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what luck is this that Nicola wasn't picked up, isn't on CCTV footage leaving the area, or that no one was coming in or out of the area. So it's the same kind of circumstances as far as that. It's that you have everything that should make sense but doesn't. Are you muted, Sonny?
Oh, no, I'm just reading CJ's. Okay. I was just reading CJ's comment. Nicola placed his phone on bench, still listening, needs 2 hands to put on harness. Abducted from behind, dog startled, runs away, harness falls off. It's not like I haven't thought that she was on the, that she was putting her phone down.
Yeah.
That's when I think, okay, well, she put her phone down, and then maybe the dog, right? Okay, maybe she did fall in at first or something like that. But why didn't they find her? You know, okay, like, so what's going on? Day after day, they're not finding her,
Where's the jacket? Where's one of the boots?
Where's anything that was in her pockets that had, you know, like, where did anything surface?
Wellies are water resistant. So if anything is going to float, one, I think the puffy jacket would float, but more than that, even one of those boots would float, and it's not like they fit snug to your foot. You know, anyone that's ever worn a wellie knows that they're rain boots. So I mean, it's going to float.
So the water thing isn't making sense anymore. I mean, so again, what are the chances that this slow moving river that would take you forever to get out to the sea, pretty much, she's not in the weir unless she was overlooked there by chance. She's not in the weir. Something would have snagged on the jacket along the way. Something would have floated to the top. The guy that did the search, Peter Falding, had said, you know, like, even their boat bottomed out. So she would have got stuck somewhere along the way before she ever hit that sea, according to him. And he felt like there was no chance that really she was out there. Very slim chance. And that's coming from a professional, you know, and of course, you know, stuff happens, right? I mean, who knows? Maybe she'll come up floating in the sea, you know, a month from now or something like that. Like, I mean, totally could happen. Totally could happen. Maybe, you know, hopefully they checked out that weir, you know, properly. Like, you know, I mean, it's a small little area. In my back of my head, I keep saying, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to be like, send Adventures with Purpose out there.
I mean,
they'll get the job done.
I think they're busy.
Yeah, I think, well, maybe Doug's not.
No, Doug's probably not.
Yeah, Doug's probably not. But yeah, so in the back of my head, I'm just like, if anyone's going to find them in the water, it's going to be Adventures with Purpose. Adventures with Purpose out there. But anyway, so of course, so that one's starting, of course, not to make sense. They put all their hens in, you know, like their eggs in a basket there. And then you start thinking about like I said, where the phone's placed there, that Willow had every opportunity to take off underneath that fence, because it's even though it's gated in, it's not gated in for an animal. And yet, so Willow was seen kind of going back and forth between that fence. Why the heck? I'm sorry about this, but why the heck anyone that has an appointment, that sees a phone, grumpy old lady, and that sees a phone and a leash, and literally ties the dog up and leaves? I don't think in any state of mind, I don't care if it was a new job interview or not, I'm not leaving that area until I understand who the owner is of that dog. Like, what goes through people's minds, in a sense? Like, there's a phone sitting there. What's she doing? Peeing in the bush, you know? And the dog's off of its leash, and there's nobody to be seen around that. And you just, oh, here, I got an appointment. When I go around, like, grab a brain cell on that one. Sorry, but grab a brain cell. What person just, you know, if something obviously sinister is going on, right? Common sense says that that's not a normal thing. Let's see a dog and a phone. Like that part right there. It's kind of like, you know, each to their own how they do things, but there's a kind that you just want to, you know, smack their head on the wall.
Like someone driving down 300, seeing someone that's muddy and bloody, and going, "Oh, okay."
Right. Yeah, they're just muddy and bloody. Oh, 6 years later, I'll talk to you about it. Whatever it was. Let me see here.
Sorry to keep bringing that back to Delphi, everyone.
I placed my harness, which reminds me, I need to look at something. Oh yeah, there's Brandy.
Well, Sunny's doing that. If I know there are only 29 people in chat right now, but if everyone could please hit the thumbs up button, we would really appreciate it, because that does help the algorithm. And then again, we'll be live tonight at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time with Alexa, Lewis, and Psychic Sleuth.
How come Brandy says I don't have anything filed for time? I actually sent over the paperwork for the new time changes.
Did you send her the docs pop thing?
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, I mean, there should be paperwork to go with that.
Right. And I sent you confirmation that we heard it from a family member as well, which you don't have to show that on camera,
No.
but
No. Yeah. 15th and 16th of June. But there should have been paperwork, so I don't know why she sent it like that. If she was adopted,
it might not have been filed yet with the county clerk's office because the remote thing, and so someone from Judge Fran Gold's office might not have filed it yet.
Right. I guess that could be. Okay, let me play this. Let me play this again.
Yeah.
Personally, and again, this is just my opinion, I'm 100% convinced it's not the river. People don't just vanish into thin air. It's absolutely impossible. So something has happened. Something has happened. Find out what it is. Find out what it is. My plea now is, personally, I want every house, every garage, every outbuilding, the land scrutinised. I want it all searched. I want it all scrutinised. Every piece of it. Definitely. And I'm just pleading with them. Just please. Anything, no matter how tiny. Just please, just come forward with it. Please. Because that could be the key to finding her. And as a family, we're not bothered about anything else. Like, there's nothing else. The only thing is we just have to find her.
You want to know what happened?
Yeah.
Honestly, whoops. Whoops. I accidentally did the wrong thing. I said, I honestly see a devastated person there.
Same.
I totally feel, for me still, when he's talking, I'm feeling every ounce of his word as he's speaking and looking at his face. And I'm seeing someone that is just puzzled, perplexed, sad, obviously, devastated. That's exactly what I'm seeing when I see him talk. That's my personal take on there.
I agree with you completely, Sonny.
Yeah, I mean, there's just certain face movements and stuff like that you just can't make up for sincerity.
Right. He looks lost.
He looks absolutely lost. Again, that's what lost, exhausted. Who else is seeing that? That's watching right now.
I'm not gonna catch you Paul on my butt or anything right now, but I'm just saying. I mean, can imagine if he's innocent and doesn't have anything to do with this. And so, one, he's lost his partner. And then two, he is the only one responsible for then explaining to those two girls where their mom is. How can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like, he has to feel like the whole weight of the world is on his shoulders right now. And I can see that in his face. And to me, I don't see the look of suspicion. I don't I don't hear reservedness in his tone.
Same. Yeah. I'm just not feeling, me and Sleuth were talking about this yesterday. And,
you and Sleuth?
Psychic Sleuth.
Oh, Psychic Sleuth. Okay.
Yeah. We're talking about this yesterday, and she kind of gets some vibes off of him. And I'm like, thanks to God, honestly, I'm not seeing it. Yes. He's had, so apparently his last business is being said that one was getting shut down or whatever as well.
Yeah, it hasn't been filed yet, but as of February 7th, it was supposed to be shut down.
Right. Okay.
But just because you're not good at business doesn't mean you've unalived your partner.
Right. Right. I mean, unless there's big insurance involved on her, or that,
Well, and there's speculation on it.
Obviously, they're going to look at that. I mean, the Popo isn't that dumb, right? I mean, they might make some mistakes that aren't that aren't.
But anyone that's in financial issues, you know what? Insurance policies don't pay out immediately, so they're not a quick fix.
No.
And especially if there's not a body found, someone that's missing is going to be an even longer process. So it's not the most ideal way to go about getting money if you need it in a hurry.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably going to hear, well, he's diverting them away from the water because she's not in there. She's somewhere else. And if they find her, then, I'm just making light of the theory conspiracy, I would say.
I do like his hat.
Right? It reminds me of that stuff I wore that when I was a kid, my mom would stick on our heads.
I would steal his hat from his bedroom if I was there.
Yeah, let's watch this one. Let's listen to this one too.
Sure.
Okay.
Talk to me. Talking to you at such a difficult time. Just tell us your thoughts and emotions at the moment.
I don't really have anything to say. Other
One sec, I'm going to stop this one. That one's not loud.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tony, I agree with you 100%. Although I will say, to my knowledge, they're not married. They're just partners.
Partners. Yeah, they're partners.
Right. And Base Girl, no, I've not seen any evidence that he had a large insurance policy on her. There's a rumor that his business partners may have had a policy on them, but I've seen no evidence of that. And like I said, insurance policy is not a quick fix if you need money, especially without a body.
Yeah. So let's play this.
Day other than what the family said yesterday. My whole focus is my two girls, just staying as strong as I can for them. I'm scared that if I put any focus into anything else, it's going to take my, focus off that. So I've got to be very careful. Just hoping to goodness that anything comes out from the interview yesterday, no matter how tiny. Just say a massive thank you to the community, friends, for everything that they're doing. It's absolutely incredible. I just can't believe that we're a week on, and as yet, it seems like we're no further on. It just seems absolutely impossible. Just like a dream. Just cannot get my head around any of it.
I mean, you're left sort of trying to make sense of the census, aren't you? It is just such a mystery.
Yeah, it is. There's just every single scenario comes to a brick wall, every single one of them, and then all we're doing is sitting there going round and round and round, going through every scenario, and then go back to the first scenario again and do the whole thing again, and it's just all day long. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing.
How are you coping? It must be so difficult. Like you say, your focus is on the girls, and it has to be. But yeah, it must be so difficult.
I don't know how I'm coping. I don't even want to actually think about that. Just focus. Just like I say, it's just about the girls. That's it. I'm there for them. I don't want to really elaborate on that. I don't want to take my eye off that.
It must be heartwarming to see the public response. Hundreds of people trying to help.
It's amazing. It is right now. It's the only thing that we can take is, that level of support is out of this world. It gives us a great amount of comfort knowing that that's going on. They don't have anything else, do we?
Well, there's hope.
We're never ever going to lose the hope. Of course we're not. But right now, it is as though she has vanished into thin air. It is.
We'll put that there. Okay. So, Sarah, I want to ask you something, Sarah Harvey. Yes, Psychic Sleuth, and we were, like I said, we were talking last night, and I let me put it this way: at the end of the day, I can see why someone would more see that scenario or get that scenario. So it's, again, we don't know what happened, but I'm not going to ask you, Sarah. This gentleman here, Sarah, do you think he's being honest, or do you think he's being deceptive? Just going by your own gut, because that's what you should follow. So I'm just curious, based on your own. Isn't it funny? Like, I see nothing about involvement for this guy. Like, I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling absolute sincerity coming through. I'm looking at his eyes. Alexa felt the same way, and there's lots of people that are feeling the same way. We had so much on Delphi, but it took his, you're right. Yeah. Let's hope this one doesn't take 6 years. I'm on Cheryl's kind of mindset now. Now that we do know that there was some issues going on and there's more to it than meets the eye. That's what I was saying. Like Cheryl was saying, I don't think he's involved. My thought and feeling is she had some issues that she was dealing with in her life and she disappeared on her own, making it look like she was kidnapped. Now, so this is kind of like my thoughts. And then, when me and Psychic Sleuth were talking, she's like, just like we were talking about earlier, like, but she wouldn't leave her dog. Like, because that part doesn't make sense in the whole equation,
Even my psychologist client earlier today where I was telling about this case, she said, well, I can tell you one thing. I would never leave my dog, even if I was in the most altered state of mind possible.
Who said that?
My psychologist client that I was telling about the case earlier today.
Right. And, so, I mean, I get why the water thing was the first place to try to think that that's what happened. That somehow maybe she tripped over Willow, fell down, hurt herself, maybe hit her head on a rock. But that's slow-moving river. They didn't find her. It's been too long now.
Right.
Okay.
They would have found a jacket or a welly.
Right. Over it. They would have seen, if she would have tripped in, they probably would have seen a foot mark slipping, something like that going on, if it was that she slipped, because chances are she probably didn't like tip over and go, no, right. I don't.
You don't Virginia Woolf it all the way to the middle of the water where it's the deepest.
Yeah,
In my opinion.
For me, and this is the great thing about all of us having our opinions, is that, again, we all see things differently. I'm, however, convinced that I'm usually right. Me and myself have conversations about that, to be honest, Right, Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, same.
Okay. Yeah. But, I went from thinking abduction, like, I kind of had that in my head. Abduction, I'm like, these two fishermen, okay. But, I feel like the just leaving thing makes the most sense to me now, because there was a welfare check, because there was some conditions going on, because the family kept making comments towards like, if you see this, please come, so they know there's issues going on. And but the thing that kind of almost stops you in your tracks a little bit is, who in their right mind would leave their dog off the leash, and leave their dog there. Now, Willow could have just, that's the thing, right? So let's say she left, right? Okay, let's say she left and started walking down the path. Well, that probably wouldn't have happened, because Willow would have been on her butt.
Absolutely. Even if she crossed the water, Willow would have followed her.
So the going back out that same way she came in doesn't make sense. That part doesn't make sense for that reason, because Willow just would have, and so had she gotten to a point and left where Willow couldn't have crossed, or done, what I mean, then Willow would have probably, like I said, this didn't happen in this big time frame either. I mean, we're talking about a half an hour she's on the phone. People saw her at 9:10, 9:33. Her phone's found. Okay, the digital data DNA is showing that she's coming back towards the bench.
This timeline is about as compact as Idaho.
Yeah,
it's essentially 10 minutes. 13 technically, but
mainline enough ketamine.
Detective Wand, that's funny. But true. I understand what you're saying.
He never says Nicola's name during the interview. I mean, his interviews were quite short. He never says.
Sarah, are you referring to when you say wouldn't you look at her for a partner's name on the mobile? Are you referring to the daughter-in-law of Grumpy Lady that found the phone? Because my understanding is that is that she recognized the screensaver that was on Nicola's phone, not necessarily that she could access the contents of the phone, which is what led her to call the school, who then called Paul and they called the police.
Right. Because most people have a passcode on their phones.
Right. So she stayed logged into the Teams call, even though her phone probably locked. Sorry, I'll be right back. My throat.
Yeah. Yeah. Like most people have their phones locked with a password. Most people do. So if she hit it, like I said, it's the police that would have told you at what time it logged out because of the digital DNA of the phone or whatever, digital data of the phone. So right. So she knew the name on the phone and then, knew who it was and then called the school.
Right. I learned something I knew about digital DNA this week.
What'd you learn?
So I've been watching the Paul or the Alec Murdoch trial, which is happening in South Carolina, and they have been doing a lot of forensic and law enforcement testimony, and I had not heard people really go in depth before on the forensics on a phone. That as far as the fact that we know about movements and things like cell phone pings and GPS and things like that, but I mean they went as far as talking about every time the phone, like if anyone's ever, I don't know if anyone has an iPhone, but if your phone is locked and you have an iPhone and you tap your phone, the screen comes up. It records a digital footprint every time your phone's activated, even if you don't unlock the phone.
Right.
And I found that really interesting. So the fact they have all these timestamps of, they were talking about the son's Paul Murdoch's phone. And they were talking about, they're trying to narrow down the timeline as far as basically when the crime happened. And so they were using the fact that his phone was only at like 2 or 3%, that the phone activated at certain times. And it could be something as simple as someone tapping it, even a raindrop hitting it.
Yeah.
But how useful that can be in forensic technology, DNA.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, we're gonna bring this live to a close because I still got to make a thumbnail for tonight. And you guys, I want you guys to come back. What?
You do?
Oh my God. Oh, right. Okay. Hold on. Let me just show you something else.
Where's my coffee mug?
Hold on. Okay, 1 second here.
I woke up to that pleasantness this morning.
Did you?
I did. I saw the last 10 minutes live.
Oh my goodness. I feel like, hold on, let me just go find it for a sec. What's this? Poor coach is terrified. Oh, sorry, thanks, Renee. What did you send a photo? Oh, that was the scheduled hearing. Okay. I think I put it here. Just give me a sec, guys. Okay. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I just.
For everyone that's in the chat,
Adam, I think we're gonna start. Go ahead.
I would say for everyone that's in the chat that's asking questions, I'm just going off my gut. I know Sunny's going off of her gut. So, anyone that's got questions about Paul, they could be 100% right. We could be 100% wrong, but I think it's important to have different thoughts and theories. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. None of us know more than any of us know right now. So we're all just giving our thoughts and opinions on as far as those parts go, the speculation on things. So I respect and I appreciate anyone's opinion.
Yep, absolutely. As long as you guys keep, yeah, as long as it's kept classy and, you know, decently to saying things, and and like I said, just clean theories or talks, simple as that, because it's not like any of us know if we're right or wrong. We're just trying to understand which way that that Nicola disappeared. I want to. This is our best friend. His name is JLR. I personally, want to upchuck a little bit whenever I watch this, but when somebody's, I mean, I've done it myself a little bit lately, but I don't mean to. Like when I think it was yesterday, I was having a little bit of KFC, and no, it was the night before. I can't remember now. But anyways, then I was getting so hungry, and it was finally like, okay, this live's going forever.
I'm starving right now. I haven't had lunch yet. And it's 5.
I'm not here to show you what I'm here to show you guys is that on our personal merchandise site, we have a press hat. That's what this picture right here is all about. Is about the press hat, kind of like this one as well. Enjoy that one. Yep.
Not only that, Sunny. Yeah. Not only, we also on our merch site. If anyone goes there right now, we have a hat on our merch site, and it says media. Now, media is a hat that JLR also wears.
He does. I mean, we're only giving you one example here of course, this press hat. I'm just trying to give you guys the best close up that you can possibly have. Hold on, is that Invisalign that I see?
It might be. Just playing. Poor JLR. We're just playing.
Yeah, no, it's all about the press hat, you guys. But just know that our merch site does carry the SWAT hat, the press hat, and the media hat, and the ICAS hat, which is It's a Crime and Shame, by the way. You're welcome. I mean, this isn't a Subway commercial.
We should send him one.
It's called Wawa. It's a Wawa.
We should send him as a Crime and Shame hat. He collects hats. We should send him one.
You know what? Once we get enough funds like he's making, we will.
I was like, you send it.
Mm-hmm. Do you know that Psychic Sleuth was telling me that she left a comment saying, so now I'm going to have to try ketchup chips. And then all of a sudden she messages back and goes something like, what a ripoff. And I was like, what? How much are they? And she's like, $9 to $14. And I'm like, that's pretty much how it feels when I look for British stuff on Amazon for my husband. They try to charge you like $7 or whatever for a small box of Fruit Loops or 14, whatever, send him a Trump hat. Yeah.
He already has one.
I like the fact as long as he's being, I just like the fact that if he's going to talk about his stint in, I think he used the word jail today. Maybe that was the part time before he went to prison for 10 years for fraud. Okay. Wire fraud. So hopefully he's turned his life around and he's trying to be, like his little plaque say on in his apartment there, success, stuff like that. It's really hard to teach a new dog new tricks, especially in their 40s, like he is. But I'm hoping for him as a person that that honestly he stops ripping off people and doing illegal things, because women are the biggest sap suckers when it comes to men, right? He does have this charismatic thing about him. I'm just saying at the end of the day, when it comes to JLR, I mean, he gives us a good laugh, and we just play on it because we find it very comical, the cheesy things that he does.
We're taking a piss at him.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. We're taking a piss out of him.
In fun.
Yeah. I mean, again, he told people it was prank calls that he was in prison for. I literally have that evidence to show that, but okay, just be truthful. It was wire fraud, and that's only what he got caught for. and he did 10 years. 10 years, people. 10 years. Yeah, I know. But you know what it is? It's because he's that cheesy salesperson. He is that person that people, and he's doing the most ridiculous things, and people are, again, you could have the nice person and the bad boy person, and him doing that, you people are gonna go get attracted to that than the average person that's talking about something. Why? Because people like drama, people like stuff like that, people like silly, different, funny, whatever they want to call it. It's just the way. And he's a manipulator of playing exactly to that. He knows how to play you guys.
He's like in the weeds.
In the weeds? Yeah, right? On the fence. On the fence. Is that the fence? I think he should go down to the fence in England. I mean,
he's like my back door.
Right? If y'all was in his shoes, let me just find some shoes. I know. I mean, he is. Like, trust me. Every time I click on him, like, I shouldn't have clicked on that video that he was eating. But I couldn't help myself. I was like, okay, GLR, what do you got for me today? You know? And then that bandana on the bathroom thing when he was brushing his teeth.
That on the hanging on that shower. Like, oh.
Hold on, let me just give you an Invisalign commercial. I got these.
So everyone doesn't know.
There you go. Here's my teeth. Yeah. Oh yeah, they're looking good. Now,
We're just playing.
Let me just brush it. You know, it's stuff that you don't typically see people do, right?
Right.
And it's quite entertaining, to be honest with you.
Richard Allen.
Richard Allen. Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Can you picture this? Shame on you. Keep
So
it Southern style.
I just told Richard Allen, shame on you. This is how you do it. JLR.
Yeah.
Gonna go in the courtroom, have a seat.
Yeah.
See y'all later.
I'm gonna have some. I'm gonna have some of this nothing burger because that's all we got from Dylan was a nothing burger.
Probably gonna trip on my way in. I'm gonna sue the courthouse.
I mean, like I said, as long as he's being honest and open about, again, his stuff, since he's talking about his prison time and whatever, just keep it real to what you actually did versus prank phone calls, you know, and hopefully all these little success plaques and little flowers and little cats that he sticks in his, you know, things and these cheesy things, you know, like, I mean, you know, like I would rather watch him any day than look at Greeno's face, to be honest with you. You know, any day of the week, because at least it's kind of like one of the, I shouldn't have said that name, slime. I meant. At least it's one of those things where, you know, it's comical to go with it.
Yeah. Sarah, I've referred to this case 20 times as Gone Girl. Yeah, absolutely could be a Gone Girl situation. So. And sorry, JD, I didn't mean to make you spit out your tea. Just don't spit out your teeth.
It's not just Circus Sleuth yet. It could be Gone Girl. Anyways, but you know what was funny though? When I went in, hold on, I went blurry. 1 second. Okay. What's her name that comes into our chat? Ocean something. You know, the one that was, you know, the one that always types in caps. I'm still blurry.
Oh, Queen of Obsidian.
Yeah. So as soon as I hit the live, that's who I see going, hey, GLR, sorry I'm late. Oh, that's Sandy Ridgeway. That's who that is on there.
Yep, that's Sandy Ridgeway. Yeah. And the other, she writes in caps because she has an visual
impairment.
Yeah, issue. So
it's still blurry. Hold on.
That's so.
1 second. Trying to fix my. I don't know. I still keep wanting to go blurry. I don't care. We're gonna end this live.
We'll see y'all again in less than 5 hours now. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys, I need to go make a thumbnail again.
I need to eat. I'm starving.
Psychic Sleuth, Alexa, Lewis, if he's feeling up to it, he should be here. If he's not, he won't be here. Adam, Adam is attached to one of those. Okay. Hey, I got a hole in my shirt. Can you see that?
Oh, I didn't until you pointed out.
Oh, okay.
What am I attached to?
One of those. Yeah. Every time I turn around is, can I join you? Can I?
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just like, I got my husband on this one, Adam on this one. Is what's happened. It's what's going on here. Yeah. So Adam might be here tonight, probably so. I'm not still sure about it, to be honest. I'm just going to do up the thumbnail and decide if I want to be here. But anyways, no. We'll do a great live tonight, you guys. We're going to discuss the Idaho case, Delphi case. We're just going to YOLO it, have a YOLO discussion about the cases with all our good friends here. And so we'll see you guys tonight. And please give this video or this live a like and a share. Please. And JLR, if you're watching this.
Wait.
Yeah. That was better. Hold on. Can you feel him? It's like he's catching it. Okay, we gotta go. Have a good day, guys. Yeah, that was funny.